welcome to Creators Night. Sorry about last night's technical difficulties. We are ready to rock and roll. This is a monthly live with our YoraHome ambassadors. Each month we will showcase a different ambassador and let them talk about what they have done with their YoraHome machines. This month we have Mr. Joseph Sweeney from Georgia, and he's going to introduce himself and show us what he does with his Ender 5. Take it away, Joe.
Welcome to Craft Connection. This is YoraHome Ambassador Place. As you can see, there ain't a whole lot of room in my workstation, but we've got it going on. I started out with a 6550, got upgraded to a 3018 addition, and then I went and bought these nice little Ender 5 printers. Opened my business up about a month ago. Thanks to them, without it, I wouldn't have been able to do it. And now we're up and running and doing pretty good so far, really. We wanted to welcome you and let you know what the Enderpod can do. If you remember putting together your 6550 or your 3018 and you started thinking to yourself, oh my, what have I gotten myself into? Well, don't worry, the Ender's real easy to put together. I'm not going to put one together tonight just for that simple reason, because they are that easy. When you take it out of the box, you put it together, you'll install your software. It's called Creality Slicer. And let me see if I can't pop that up for you so you can see what it does. And there we go. Everybody can see my screen here?
Yep.
I hope.
We can.
All righty. As what you see here, this is a filament guide with a cleaner put on it. I had to make another one for the other two machines. I got two of them for my machines, but I need to make another one, so I just thought I'd bring that up so you could see it. What you see is, let's get back to the, you'll start out, this is the way yours will come out when you first see it the first time. You're going to go add a machine. You'll bring it up, brings it on. You'll tell it what machine you got down here on the list. Pop it in and hit finish. The next thing you know, you got your thing. When you'll go in here, you'll go into your machine settings, and you'll make sure that it says the 220, 220, 300. You'll want to select your COM port. Now on this one, I believe it is COM 11, if I remember right. And your baud rate, I always set it 115. So you have your machine set up, you're ready to go. Now this will pop in. The best thing to do when you start, in my opinion, is have it this way. Beginner's luck. That way, when something goes, it'll do fine. The hardest things you're going to have with these 3D printers is leveling. It's very important, and probably the most important part of this machine is making sure that your bed is level with your extruder. You will also have to deal with humidity, dust, and drafts. Any of those three will kill a melt in a minute. And believe me, I know all about it. I've been having to deal with it ever since I moved everything into this store. So, when you go to level, it has to be a certain distance from the extruder. When I got mine, they told me to get Post-it note. Take your Post-it note, put it under your extruder, level your bed up until you can move that piece of paper. You feel a slight drag, but you don't want it to drag real hard. So when you get it all level, you're ready to roll. You'll have your Creality PLA, which is all your filament. That's what this is, filament. and you can choose, you know, ABS or PLA. This is what these machines will run. And you can set your profile for fast, which means it'll take less filament. Normal, you'll use a little bit more, but if you want the best quality, you'll go with high quality. I always use wrap for an adhesion method. And with the glass plates, you're not supposed to have to use anything. Sometimes you do. Sometimes you don't. I always use a print support structure.
What does that mean, Joe?
Ma'am?
What does that mean? What is a print support structure?
It's when you have curves and stuff like that that's above the plate that you're on, it will actually build an arm out there so it helps support as it's making the stuff that it does, and those just pop off when you're done. I very rarely use them if it's a flat piece. I don't use it. It's not worth the hassle and the extra filament. But I have some parts, like when I made my brackets that hold up my bed, the bed supports for my Ender 5, you had to have that, otherwise they would never build. They would always fall, you know, it'd always be messed up. That's just the way it is. You'll load your file, and then this is where you can print with USB. Now, you don't have to use USB. It has the printers themselves have an offline controller. You put your little SD card in it, and you can print from there. I'm lazy. I prefer doing it from the computer, because then you have to copy it over to the SD drive and stick it in, and by then I've already had it up and framed. So I don't use it very often. However, when you first get your machine, if you want to test it, I do it. Put your SD card in there. They've got several little things: a pig, there's a pig money bank, a dog, and a cat. I think I can't remember. It's been so long. If you have the questions that I've been asked mostly while we're doing this, since I started this, is where do you get your files from? Well, there's several places. I personally use Iggy and Thingiverse, but there are some places where you can go and pay for some really quality files to use. You will use an STL file on this one. Don't ask me what STL stands for, because I couldn't tell you. I just know it's called an STL file. That's just how simple these things are. Once you get everything set, your temperatures and all of that stuff are usually preset inside the chip. If you look at your reels of filament when you buy them, they give you recommended bed temperatures and extruder temperatures. And usually that average is 200, and your average bed is usually 60. So that's where you'll see them usually run. You can tweak them by raising the temperature or lowering the temperature of the bed to get adhesion. Because sometimes, like I have one set that says the bed should be at 55, so I set my bed at 55. Gosh, these things are so simple. I just don't know how much more to tell.
Can you show us an example of a good melt versus a bad melt, or what some of the problems you've encountered?
Yes, I can. Hang on, I'll be right back. Go get one. All right. is a good melt. Right here. Right here, this is a good melt. It's nice and smooth, all pretty. A little dusty and dirty because it's been sitting in my thing, but you can see how nice and smooth and even, and everything looks so nice and shiny. You look at this one, you can see the roughness. It's got rough edges, it's all rough. And it's not supposed to be, it's supposed to be smooth. And what causes that was I had a humidity problem. And I can fix it, you know, using some sandpaper and stuff, but you shouldn't have to do a whole lot of sanding when you get done with your melts. You can also do multicolor melts if you know how to do it. You just change in the middle of your burn, you pause it, and then you put your second color in and go forth and go on. They got multicolored filament, but that gives you the rainbow psychedelic look. It's not using one color then two color. There's a lot of projects out there that you actually have to take 3 different colors and make each melt and then glue them all together. And then you get a nice pretty little thing like my hitch cover that I have. This is actually another hitch cover. This is the part that goes on the receiver part that goes inside your receiver. And you paint them up. I have had the ability, because I've got a really good heat gun, that when I paint, I take my heat gun over it and it seals it into the plastic so it never comes off. Well, guys, I don't know of anything else I can really say.
Someone asked, what does the room temperature have to be if you're 3D printing? And my answer was regular room temperature but low humidity. And they asked, what if you live in Georgia where the humidity is high? And I said, well, Joe lives in Georgia, and I believe you use a dehumidifier in your room.
I have 2 dehumidifiers and a filament dryer.
What is
that I run on my machine.
What is a filament dryer?
It's a device that they made so that you can take your whole roll of filament, put it in there, and it'll roll just like if you put it on the arm of your. Can you see that black filament roll back there in the back of this one?
Yeah.
If not, I'll move the camera up where maybe you can. Let me see. I'm not very good at this. All right, you see that back there? All right. That is your holder for your filament. I have, let me see. Can you see that white thing in the back there?
Okay.
Back there, see it?
Yeah.
With the clear, that's your filament dryer. And you can buy them at Amazon. I think I only paid like $30 for that one. $40, I don't remember. It wasn't very expensive. My dehumidifiers were more expensive than it was. And you just leave it in there, and if you're running a high humid day, you run that, and you usually don't have as many problems with your filament. Drafts. Oh my goodness, drafts. I fight that every day because of the heat in this building. You have to have fans to keep the from killing you. But
so what happens with a draft? What sort of problem will you see?
What it does is your bed has to be at a certain temperature. And if you've got a draft blowing across it, it cools that bed, which causes what they call a warping, where the filament is no longer sticking to the bed in spots. And it'll cause a warpage, which will totally mess up your whole melt, believe me. I've thrown away more bad melts because of it. And then find out because somebody happened to remember to tell me, hey, ding-a-ling, you're sitting in front of an air conditioner even though the air conditioner was way above it. Yeah, okay. So now you see why I'm back here in this little cubby hole. Because I had to get away from all that draftiness. Dirt and dust are also a very big enemy because it'll also cause your filament to clog the
Your
anyway, the little
extruder.
fat things.
Your extruder? Is that the word you're going for?
Yeah, your extruder has a little
Nozzle?
nozzle. There you go. That's the word. And those nozzles clog up very easy because it's got a teeny little hole. And when they clog up, they send you this little needle-looking thing. Let me see. In your toolkit, you get one of these. Here, see? I know you can't hardly see it, huh?
Yeah, we can see it.
Well, it's so tiny. Okay, and you got to stick that little needle point into that little bitty hole, and then you'll poke it. The only problem with that is all it does is move that whatever was clogging up your hole out of the way, and then it gets right back in the way. I find it's easier just to buy a whole bunch of nozzles, and when it clogs, take the nozzle off, throw it away, and put a new one on. That's why you see me making these cleaners. That's what they do is as the filament comes up through the guide there, it hits that little canister there and it scrapes any dirt and dust off of it and puts it inside that little container, and you have to empty it every now and again. You maintain them just like you would your 6550s, your 3018s. You got to keep the dust and dirt off of them. They are electronics, and if you know anything about electronics at all, heat is not their friend. So you want to try to keep a good airflow opening, not just moving air, but just so that it can pull its own air in and keep itself cool. From what I understood, 78 to 80 degrees is about the best temperatures, but you want your humidity down in the teens and low 20s. Anything above that, you're going to start having issues and having to deal with making adjustments and all that. And then when you start that, the next time you go back to doing something and you don't have that humidity, all those changes you made, you got to undo again and then go. So it's not worth it. If you just maintain it, you'll be all right. Anything else, y'all?
That was the only question that we had so far. So if anyone else has any questions, go ahead and type them. We'll be happy to answer anything that you want to know about 3D printing.
Now they do have, I know you guys sell one that has the BL Touch on it.
The machine, yeah,
Auto adjust and all that.
Yeah, the CR6 has a lot of the auto features.
Yeah, I don't know about anybody else, but I've never had the auto feature work right. I do a manual adjustment, and my stuff works great. So maybe one day we'll have somebody that knows how to use that BL Touch actually give a good lesson on it. I'm learning it through videos and stuff like that, how to get it to work, but their videos are really terrible. They don't give you a lot of information as really what to do if you're having issues that I have found. That's why I'm still having problems with the BL Touch, and I just bypass it. But I do like one thing that you guys that's coming out on these, I think the CR6 has it also, is the broken filament sensor.
Yes, that is a really nice feature.
Yes, but be careful with them, guys, because when you're trying to push that up through there, there's a, just like with the extruders, they have a little clip on it that rides up against it, and if you catch it wrong, your filament will catch, and you can't do nothing with it. You have to actually take it apart and, you know, get your filament fixed and then put it back together. But once you get it in there, believe me, you will be glad it's there. It's on this, my ender that I have it on, it saved me twice already to let me know, because it pauses the printing for you and lets you change your filament out when you're having a bad spot. So those are good features. From what I understand now, Crealities has their own automation leveling stuff, and they're going away from the BL Touch, which to me seems like the best deal they could do. I mean, the BL Touch is supposed to be great and all that, but like I said, I've had nothing but problems with it, because I tell it, you know, I follow their directions and tell it, you know, okay, the difference is this and this, and every time you turn around, you have to redo it, and I don't like that. I like when I set something, I want it to stay there. If I'm changing different parts or something like that, like on the 6550, you know, you have to adjust your stuff up and down to match the material you're going to. So you know you're going to do that. But with these printers, they're basic. You put them together, they work or they don't. That's that simple. And why they don't is usually, like I said, those things. Dirty, dusty, nice humidity going on, temperatures too cold or so. You want to be in the 78 to 80 range. Your humidity, you want it to 10 to 25%, nothing higher. That's what I found, because I have a humidity checker in here, and when I get it down to 25, my printers seem to work great. I never have any problems with them. I got one more ender I got to build yet, but I have no room for it in here. So if they ever want to, have you do a build on one, let me know. I'll pop a video of it while I'm doing it, and we'll post it on the site for people to see. Because they are, the hardest part you're going to have is the wiring. But guess what? This wire says X-axis. This little plug says X-axis. Dink. You're done. And it's for everything. For your stop switches and everything. Every one of them is marked as to what it is. And you put it there.
Brandy wants you to explain what nozzle clogging means. What does it mean for a nozzle to clog?
All right, you're sitting here watching your print go, and all of a sudden there's no filament coming out, and you come into it's been running for a couple hours, and you come in to check on it, and you've got like this much distance between your project that you were supposed to be melting and the nozzle is up here. Okay, and there's no filament there. What's happened is dirt has gotten into that teeny little hole and blocked the nozzle from being able to spit out the filament, melted filament that you got. And again, I've taken them and used the needle and cleaned them out, and it lasts about another 20 minutes, and then it's doing it again. So like we said, it's easier just to go buy a bag of them nozzles and have one on hand. Get you a 1/4-inch socket, pop it off. Don't use their tools, because their tools are stinky. as far as their wrenches go for taking on the nozzles and all that stuff. Get your own, use your own. The nozzles are a 1/4 inch and a little 1/4 inch drive socket and ratchet. Pop that booger right off, put it right back on, and you're back up and running in less than 2 minutes. Can do the nozzle, but then see, you have to lower your bed down so you get that needle up in there, and then once you get it plugged, it'll start spewing stuff out again. And then it'll, you have to try to get it back to where it was or whatever. It's not worth all that. Or start all over most of the time, because I have a hard time getting mine to print pause where it's supposed to. Any other questions, guys? Any other? Pop it off. It doesn't have to even be about this machine, just any question. Dang, this was short. We wanted to go an hour. You shouldn't have gave me such an easy machine to do.
Talk about something else then. Talk about some of the stuff that you've made. Talk about what you sell in your store. You can talk about anything you want. This is your session, buddy.
Well, for guys that's got the 6550, somebody today was asking me about, I saw where they wanted to go to a smaller one because their 40 watt wasn't giving them the right dot or something. I had the 15 watt and my dot goes small. I've got the 40 watt and I get a needle point. It's all in how you use that cylinder. Most people don't know how to calibrate distances using a spacer. If you've ever done, well, us old guys like me, we used to have to change spark plugs and points and condensers and all that stuff when we had to do a tune-up because it was too costly to do that. Well, when you put a spacer such as this, let's say it's this piece of paper right here, that spacer right there, when you put your two pieces between it, you should be able to feel tension but not drag. If that makes any sense to you. You should be able to feel it touching that paper or that cylinder, but there's no drag. If you go pulling that cylinder and there's a drag, you're too low. So when you take that cylinder out, what's going to happen is your laser is going to drop that distance that you have it too tight. And then your focus is going to be off. So like I said, you want to make sure that when you put it in there, that you feel, when you move it, you can feel the laser head and your material, but there's no drag. It just barely, you can feel it, but it doesn't drag on you. And most of your settings, like on the 3018, you use this to set your distance between your starting point of your bit. The same thing. You want to feel that bit and you want to feel that material, but you don't want to feel any drag. If you feel drag, you're too low. Come up whatever it takes so you don't feel that no more. That is proper spacing. Once you get that spacing right, then it's all about producing the right power and the right speed. I know I've said this 1,000 times on this page. When you joined this endeavor, thinking that you could just whip out a whole bunch of stuff in a day, you found out it don't work that way. And most of the time when you're using your speeds, if you're going too fast, it's going to mess up your picture. Or if you're going too slow, it's going to overburn your picture. So you find that happy medium. Most of us, we've all done canvas, we've done mirrors, we've done tiles. Another one, somebody asked about changing the DPI. If you want to change your DPI of a picture, you have to do that before you load it. Because once you've loaded it, whatever DPI that is, that's what the machine reads. And that's what it's going to do. If you tell it to go higher or lower, it's going to change your picture. I always take my pictures and up the DPI to 300. It's a better quality picture and it prints out much better. This one's printing right now. Let me see if I can get my camera up on it. Can we see that now? Let me get out of the way. You see that picture? Hopefully I can zap it in closer. That's a 300 dot picture being burnt on a canvas.
We can't really see much.
Huh?
I said we can't really see a whole lot.
Yeah, it's kind of light on this one. I don't know why. All the others have burnt dark. This one wants to burn light. But it's coming out really good. It's an old style picture. We get cutting boards, finishes. People ask about finishes all the time. I have never paid big money for fancy stuff. I didn't see no sense in it when the cheapest paint Walmart has is these right here. I use the satin on some, but it's Rust-Oleum. Just little old Rust-Oleum. They're a couple of bucks a can, and you can get whatever color you want. I use colors on wood for carving because if I paint the wood and then carve it, the lettering sticks out so much better.
Doesn't it though? That's one of my favorite things to do too.
What's that?
I said, doesn't it though? That's one of my favorite things to do too.
Yeah. Paint the wood and then carve it so it stands out like a sore thumb. Yep, that's good. Now on my tiles, I've been having huge issues with the paints wanting to bubble each other. So my wife does resin. She does I'll carve stuff for her, and she'll put the resin coloring in it to make it pretty. But she takes clear resin and paints over that tile, and it waterproofs it, and it's actually sturdy. It sturdies the tile up. It won't break so easy if they drop it.
Can you show us one of those?
Yeah, I got one in here right now. Hang on. This is a better example of one of the deals I did on canvas. They come out so easy. This is a resinated tile that my wife did. I don't know if anybody knows what this place is, but if you're a motorcyclist, you should know. This is the original Harley Davidson factory that was built in 1903. See, and these are some of the tiles, like I was saying, if you look at it really close, you can see where it's bubbled up. So I got to redo this tile over.
Do you think that's a humidity issue, or you think it's something else?
Well, if you mix paints, it'll cause that. But my problem with that is both of these are Rust-Oleum paints.
Curious.
So, yeah, it really. Now, see, here's another one that it didn't bubble. And that was my car back in 1983. So, you know, the tiles supposed to come out really good. I'll show you some of the mirrors that we've done. Glass. Now, when I had my 15 watt, guys, I would have to do these at like 80% power and like an 80 or 100 speed to get this kind of a quality picture out of a mirror. This was with my new 40 watt, 30% power, and 100-inch speed.
What do you have to do to the mirror so that it doesn't damage your laser?
You always, always, always burn from the back side and mirror your file so that it flips it over and prints it right. Glass is the same way. Oh, my poor plate's dirty. This is one of my plates done with the 40 watt. Again, with my 15 watt manual, I was having to use 90 to 100% power and 100 speed to get this same quality that I did with 100-inch speed, or no, I'm sorry, 100 speed and 60% power. That's when I fell in love with my 40. And like I said, it's all about the focus of your machine and the quality of the picture that you create. A lot of people are going, I've had difficult pictures that I couldn't, no matter how much I played with them, I couldn't get them right. Somebody said, well, try ImageR. Guys, use ImageR if you're a new, especially newbies, because when you load your picture, if you got to crop it or fix it or whatever, you do that, and then you tell it what material you want to put that picture on, and it will set it up for you. You download it, put it in your thing. If it's a wood, you know what power you need and what speed you need. If it's a mirror, blah, you know what you got. Especially with your difficult pictures, it saved my Gypsy logo that I have ever since I got this machine, started these machines. I had been working on that picture to get it to print, and I never could. Somebody said try ImageR. I put it through ImageR. I can print that booger now. I printed it on plates, wood, mirrors, and it's a good program for making a photo work on whatever material you want. If it needs to be, if it's a dark picture, yes, lighten it. You've got to brighten it up a little bit to get it to come out right. But most of the time, if you've got a good quality, bright picture, you put it in that ImageR and you run it through that program, and you take that file and put it in your laser gerbil or Lightburn, whichever program you want to use. It works. It comes out beautiful. I have yet to have one give me any problem. But most of the time, my pictures I've already doctored and had them going. So, because I've been doing this for a long time. I've been a leather craftsman since I was 8 years old, and I've developed and captured prints that I wanted to put on leather, and just never got around to doing it. And now that I have these machines, I'm like printing them everywhere. So the laser has made my life a lot easier. When I broke my back 2 years ago, I can't pound on leather like I used to, to make the carvings out and all that stuff. So I had to come up with a different way. And that's what got us interested in these. And to be honest with you guys, I tried Glowforge. I called Glowforge. Glowforge blew me off like I didn't exist. That Saint whatever it is, it's called. Same thing, blew me off. Several of the other companies that are out there, I call them up. I'm looking to do this on this, and any other things I can do, and I get blowed off. I called Miss Angie, and every question I asked, she answered, and then she gave me the recommendation. Her first recommendation was the 3018 Pro with the laser on it. But when you look at the size, that limited me. And I don't like being limited. I'm the type of person that if I buy a piece of equipment, I want it to do everything I want it to do. I don't want to have to go, well, I got to get a new one now because I can't do this because of that. I'm at the point now that I have to go up to a fiber and a CO2 because I got people asking me if I could do this stuff with what I got, and I can't. I don't have the equipment.
We have a question from Mr. Thomas Wyatt. He wants to know, is ImageR free?
Yes. Yes, it is. It's a web-based program. You just, if you're running Windows 10, it's real simple. Once you pull it up, go over there where your three dots are. Okay. Let me see if I can share that one. Let's stop presenting that one. We're going to present a different one. Boink. Yeah, let's do that one. All right, hang on here. All right, you can see where I'm at up here once it comes in. All right, you see where my mouse is up here where it says settings and more? Them three little dots right there. If you drop down, it says apps. And then you can say install this site as an app, and it creates it as an app. And then down here on your bottom, you'll see that little icon pop up, which is right there. This is ImageR. Okay, go away. This is my ImageR. And all you have to do is when you see it is say, pin it to the taskbar. And voila, you have that program there all the time, just like that. So, and like I said, you pull it down, you can see your upload, your cropping, your resize. When you resize them, this is where you will type in the 300 DPI. If you don't want to change the size of the picture itself, you don't have to, but change your DPI to 300 and you will get a much sharper, clearer picture. And then here you have your material. Drop down where it says acrylic, wood, glass, white tile. White tiles painted black, cork, glass, whatever. Okay? And then your download button, of course, will start your download. And you're done. I mean, it's just that simple. I wish I'd have had that program before. I would have had stuff done a long time ago. There's several other great programs out there for doctoring pictures. I myself, I have always used Photoshop from Adobe, or Corel, I mean. But I've been using them for about 15 years. So I'm familiar with their program and I use it all the time. It doesn't convert to SVG or nothing like that. It's strictly a raster program. If you want to use a vector program, there's several of those out there too. I don't use them because I've got other ways of making my files work. A lot of people love Inkscape. It's on my computer. I use it occasionally to convert certain pictures that I know that are already vector into a PNG file or SVG file so I can use them. JPGs work great. The laser, Lightburn, and laser GBR, Gerbil all love PNG files. love them better than they do the JPG. They can actually read them better. I don't know, but that's because that's how they wrote the software. They like them better. The 3018s, SVG. There's supposed to be some other files that they use, DXF, but I've never been able to get those to come in right, or any G-code files that I just have, G-code file, and go try to load it to see if it'll, carve it out for me, and I can't get them to load. It says, not a good file. Okay, but that's easel. You all have switched to the Carbico. I have yet to be able to switch to it yet. I'm still playing with my easel. I've gotten some new 3D, what they call 3D carvings, that I'm trying with them, and so far they haven't worked very well.
We still love we still support easel. We're just trying to give people another option. Just to show that there's other choices out there if you so choose. But easel's still what we are going to recommend, just for ease and free. Yeah.
And the Pro, you can, if you have something that you want to do as that requires Pro, you get so many a month. I forget how many, it's 1 or 2 or something like that.
I think it's 4 actually.
4? Okay.
2?
You can print those when you're during your time, when you have your 4, and then everything else just carve away.
I was just told that if you joined before May, it was 4 and you're grandfathered in, but now anyone that it's only 2.
Oh wow, okay. Yeah. Oh, that reminds me. Thank you for mentioning easel. I got to change my credit card on there. I had to change my credit card. Somebody tried hacking my credit card, so I had to change credit cards. But easel's easy. I don't know.
Yeah, Carveco is just for design work. It's you're still gonna use you'll design the file in Carveco and then submit it to easel to actually run the machine.
Okay. See, that I didn't know. I thought it did both.
Or you can use Universal G-code sender, or there's a few other things. Yeah, Carveco just does the design work. Whereas one of the big differences is like, let's say you were wanting to do a 3-dimensional carve, or you were wanting to do a complicated layered carve.
Right.
Where Carveco comes in is doing that design work to create those tool paths. Easel doesn't have that design component in it. Not as easy. I mean, it does, but it not as easy for those complicated carves.
The downside is.
Yeah, I've only made one file, my own file that I made for me. And then come find out, like 2 months after I finished busting my butt to get this thing to print right, somebody else had already published one.
Where'd he go? I missed something. He's going to get something, apparently. He keeps wandering off. I know.
Here it is. This was my design right there. I made that one for myself so I could make this because everybody wanted too much money for Super Bowl championship stuff, so I made my own. And my wife's going to resin it so it looks really pretty. The other one I made, we gave to my grandson for his birthday. So I don't have it no more. It's on the site. It's a picture of it. We do have our own website. We do also have our own Facebook. and I publish YoraHome all over it. So I won't go with anybody else. I've heard people out there saying, "Oh, YoraHome sucks" and all that. And the only thing I can gather from that is they didn't like the fact that they had to put their machines together or something. They were mad about something. But every company has problems. It don't matter. And YoraHome has always been right there on top of it, trying to get it done. I want to congratulate you guys on your new Z-axis. I think that thing's perfect.
Thank you.
I got the original version. It don't have to be pretty as long as it works.
There you go.
That's my philosophy. But the drag chains, anybody that has a fixed focus, if you don't get that Z-axis, you're causing yourself a lot of work that you don't need. To save your wiring and everything, get those chains, get those drag chain kits because they're worth it. And they make your machine look more, Decepticonish.
The Z-axis aren't even officially here yet, and we've already sold almost 200 of them. They're popular.
Yeah, well, it works. I'm gonna tell you the only thing I do, I got smart. I have one of them little drills, and I put a socket on it, and I take that little drill and go when I have to, go a certain, if I have to go distances up and down, I use my little drill. It goes slow, and it just, and then I get it down close to where it's supposed to be, and then I hand do it, and so I don't break nothing. My machine, now that I have it all set up and everything, looks Decepticonish. I'm waiting for. You don't know what the Decepticon is? Didn't you watch the Transformers?
Okay.
My wife always asked me why I have a gun in the house. I said, because of Decepticons. I'm just waiting.
Well, all right, Mr. Joe, we really appreciate your time.
I love it.
I don't think we have any other questions right now, so we appreciate you sharing your story. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to bring this to a close. Next month for the August Creators Night, we're going to be meeting with Adam. He is in the UK, and he is going to teach us how he uses both the 3018 and the Ender, and he builds guitars. He builds custom guitars. So you'll be the August Creators Night. It's always the first week of the month. So stay tuned for August. Like I said, we're going to be meeting with Adam in the UK. It may be at a different time because of the time difference between here and the UK. So just stay tuned. We'll send an email blast out just like we did for this one, announcing the time once Adam gets with us. So
all right, y'all.
Thank you,
Keep
Joe.
on cutting, y'all. Y'all have a good one.
Thank you, Joe. Have a good night.
You too. Now I get to go out and play in the rain now. Bye, y'all.